Hi, everybody. Jenny here.
Justin, so
How's it going, Justin, in Puerto Rico?
hot, but now I can finally see blue sky. We've been like under very gray, dark sky for 4 days because of the Sahara dust that I was mentioning you.
Yeah.
So, but it's very strange. Here, it usually don't happen that like that hardcore. Like I couldn't see mountains. I couldn't. I look at from my house. I can see the ocean. I with these past few days, I only see a couple buildings around the neighborhood, and it was all great. So it's been very weird days because strange days, because we are under the influence of our environment constantly,
Right.
and we Puerto Rico is a very colorful place, like your background. It's like that every day, and then having it look all gray, like if it's going to rain, but it never does, and you have that for 4 days in a row, and it's kind of like gloomy, like it's very strange.
So
But now it's clearing up.
I I used to live in Kuwait, which is desert. So we do have overcast. Maybe this is the dust storm. And yesterday on Facebook, my friend posted that there was this aura around the sun. It was just
Mhm.
like this ring around it. Look really unusual. And he looked it up, and it's like a sign of change and all this. It's kind of weird, how the universe is kind of giving us signals in that sense. But when I used to live in the desert, it's like a dust storm. So everything settles on the car, everything settles on your stuff. Very tiny, thin layer, you know?
Yeah, I know. I have a friend that he visited Egypt. How do you, that's how you say it in English? Egypt? In Spanish, Egipto, or
Oh,
the pyramid. Yeah,
Egypt. Hmm.
Egypt. So, and he says that over there it's like that daily. Like every day the sky looks like that.
Oh.
So like I started thinking from the feng shui perspective, then
Mhm.
how does that affect the personality of the people that live under those conditions
Yeah.
in the place?
Yeah. How does it affect them? Absolutely.
Yeah, I need to travel over there. I want to travel more.
Yeah. It does affect, I mean, every environment affects you. Like they say, people from warm countries are more relaxed, more easygoing, more laid back, and people from cold countries, it affects your personality. You know,
You're from Hawaii. Your background is from Hawaii, also, right?
I was born in Hawaii, and when I was 5, I moved to Tokyo, which is 4 seasons. Japan has 4 seasons, so
Okay,
I'm more. I have a little bit of Hawaii, but I have maybe more Japanese, probably.
all right.
Yeah, yeah. But at certain times, my Hawaii comes in and it's like, hey, whatever.
Yeah, you get the contrast from being in a island and then in a city, a major city.
But
So
Japan's an island too.
it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Is that it? Every time I look pictures, it looks so developed. But I guess that it's what I get to see in the because in
Yeah.
Tokyo it's very busy.
Yes, Tokyo is. But if you go to the countryside, it's very beautiful. It's very green, you know.
Okay.
I like the countryside a lot. And the people are so kind and the food is so good.
What do you like more, Seattle or Japan
Or Hawaii.
or Hawaii?
Yeah.
To
Eventually, I want to go back to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let
So
me
yeah, I thought, okay, back to feng shui. Of course,
know.
yes, we get carried away, don't we? I want to talk about because last week we talked about relationships in feng shui. So I thought we can make a continuation of relationships in feng shui. And how does feng shui and relationships kind of overlap? What does feng shui have to do with a relationship? How does your environment affect your relationships?
Well, the first thing is that how is our relation with our environment?
That too. That too.
Because we are in a constant relationship with everything that is around us. It's that we're not aware of it. We're not having that thinking that, oh, I have a relationship with my bedroom. No, people don't think like that in
Mm-hmm.
general, but you do. And um, everything in life, it's explained. You can explain it or use the reference, the Tai Chi, the yin yang logo.
Mm-hmm.
So how is one side is the other side. They are a mirror of each other, and how you are in your own environment will be reflected in how you are in the external environment and also with other people. So, like for example, you see someone that has a pet, and you see how that person treat the pet. It will give you feedback of how that person will be related with kids or other kind of people, because it's coming from that person. It's part of its personality. And so everything in life is yin yang. So first, how is your environment will affect how is your relationship with um, surroundings, with your inner and outer circle of family, friends. Um, you mentioned me that someone asked you about the house, right? Like is getting marriage or something like that.
Yeah, someone mentioned that they have a good relationship with their partner right now. They live together, and their concern was they wanted to feng shui their house in such a way that their relationship will continue to be smooth, and continue to be growing. And
But
so they wanted.
do you know how long they've been together?
No, I don't know that. But
No,
I
no.
also, okay, and the other thing was, I've been to I've consulted for clients for the feng shui, and I always ask them, why do you want this consultation? Because everybody's reasoning is different, everybody's issues are different. So I always want to know why they wanted the consultation. So this one person had a broken marriage. He had two children, and his first marriage didn't work out. It was just not a good relationship. And he was finally in a relationship that he felt this can be a long lasting relationship. And he says, we're going to live together. So I want to make sure that we will have a good relationship, because he says, his first marriage was broken, and it was a very, very painful experience. He didn't want to repeat that. So he said he wanted this consultation. And so they were moving into a new place. It wasn't their old house. So I don't know what the old house looked like, you know.
Mm.
So I went, we had a look around and make sure all the energy was connecting, you know. And one of the things that I kind of emphasize, I kind of do a lot of divorced men. I don't know why. And I think it's because the same reason. A lot of divorced men also have children. The ones that have children, they want a good relationship with their children, and they want to spend time with their children. So my goal is always to make sure the children feel welcome. Have a space for your child to feel like this is their home too. Because a lot of times the children live with the mother, not with the father. So they only visit the father. So if you have children and you want to create a good relationship with them, if they're small, make sure they have their section and they have a place to go, and they feel very welcome. That's how I always tell them that's where they have to begin.
Mm-hmm. That you see that's a keyword, like feeling welcoming to the place. So when you feel good in the environment that you are, you will uh, naturally you will be more yourself. You see, like you will not restrict yourself. When you are feel comfortable, you will just be, and that is very important. So if you have a relationship with someone else and you're getting this house, or she's moving with you, or vice versa, but you're getting into one place. It's very important that you both, or the circle that is moving, the family, whatever, that feels good in the place. Sometimes one person, maybe the owner of the house or whoever is living there first, has everything arranged for that person necessities. Like, for example, I have my house, I arrange it my way. You want to move with me? Okay, you're welcome. Come here, but don't touch my stuff. This is how it is, and that will not give the opportunity to the other person to express itself. So that you mentioned, it's very very important, and it and we're not talking about energy flow here. We're talking about the liberty that the person that is going to live in that environment, the liberty to express itself, to be able to adapt it to, oh, I like this, I like to put a frame here, and that makes me, a frame doesn't bother anybody. It's not I'm painting the wall, which is a major change. It's no, just let me hang this, or let me put this plant here and customize the place. And if you can get in tune with the other person in that sense, in the sense of making the place feel more cozy, or like
Warm.
yeah, warm. So I think that's the first step that will nourish the relationship,
That's right.
because
That's
feeling
right.
comfortable, relaxed.
But also, I think, in relationships, we all know that a good relationship requires communication, and it requires compromise. You cannot only have one person's way. You got to listen to the other person too. And in that sense, you're absolutely right where the decoration. Maybe somebody's moving into your house. You got to let them be them too, and hopefully you guys have similar tastes. Sometimes it doesn't work that way. It's difficult. It's difficult. Yeah. But they have to be able to express themselves too. And I think that's where you have to compromise. you know Many
Yeah.
relationships are compromise. But I
Mhm.
also wanted to talk about, uh, feng shui is also a guidance on how to live our life, following nature. And I said, if we're supposed to get along with everybody, and have good relationships, but I said it's not always that way. Sometimes a relationship doesn't work out. I had a relationship with a teacher that I had for over 10 years, and it came to a point where it wasn't working for me anymore.
Mhm.
It was very painful for me, but I thought I got to stop this because it was more pain than it was working. So I said,
Mhm.
I just have to stop it. So I stopped it. But of course, you go through that sad period. I was very depressed about it. I couldn't sleep about it. I didn't know if I did the right thing. And I was very confused and hurt. There's a lot of pain, right? So I went to Dr. Zhu and I asked for advice. I said, Dr. Zhu, did I do the right thing? Is this natural? Because I thought you're supposed to get on with everybody, right? And he says, no. He says, people have karma. That's how you kind of get together. You have something that brings you together, some resonance or whatever it was. So with me and my teacher, there was some kind of resonance in the beginning. But after you finish your path, that means your karma is done. I said, oh, is that what it means? And that was the advice he gave me. He said, your karma is done. So that's why you finished. Whatever you're supposed to learn, you learn. And now it's time for you to move on. I said, well, I guess if I put it that way, I feel better. I just feel better, because I was kind of unsure of the path that it went.
Yeah.
So if you think of an end of a relationship, whether it's a friendship or a love relationship or any kind of business relationship, it's just the end of your karma with that relationship. And so you learn your lesson and you move on. I said, well, I guess if you look at it that way, much easier to move on.
Yeah, and you know that some relationships, like for example, I have moved on from other relationship that we're still friends, like because it was a good relationship, and the fact that we're not together anymore doesn't mean that we cannot be good friends, because at the end of the day, we had fun together. We have things in common, and it's a good person. So sometimes don't happen the same. Not everybody is has the mentality to deal with that, or the breakup was too strong. But ideally, you want to have good relationship with people. Like who you know who wants to be crying and hating people, and there's no time for that. I mean, for me, I see it as a waste of time. Like posting, my friends tell me, oh, now that I add her in Instagram, she's posting photos with her new boyfriend. I
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, what's the necessity? Like, oh, let me put this to mess up with the mind of the other person. You know, that kind of stuff. For me, it's like, why you want to be in that cycle? So you want to be good with everybody, and you want to be happy. People in general, I want to be happy. If people have fun doing that, let them be. But I think that um, you know, when you have a good relationship, it's a good relationship, even if it doesn't work. That doesn't mean it's a bad relationship. You know, maybe it doesn't work for that purpose, but it worked at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So that means something. Maybe you wanted to take it to another level that maybe it wasn't. It's like employees, boss employee relationship. This employee, you in the beginning you hire it and say, oh, I'm gonna promote him. He's a good employee. Let's put in this position, and in that position it doesn't work. It doesn't mean it's a bad employee. And maybe you have an argument, I fire him. I don't want to know about that person. I gave him an opportunity, he didn't appreciate it. He didn't did a good job. But he was doing a good job in the beginning. Maybe that position was not for his abilities, or like if it worked at some point, there you don't need, for whatever the reason happens, the essence, the core is still there. So it's just matter of see things as they are, and not creating the expectation of something else that you don't know if it will work or not. I don't know if you get my point.
Yeah,
A
I
little
do, but I think a lot of times when you have those kind of issues, it's also because sometimes you get too used to something, or you like, I've been with my husband for a very, very long time. And we've, every relationship's like this. It's not like this all the time. You know what I mean? You know, you've got good days and you got bad days, right?
bit.
Uh, but if we don't work on it, if sometimes if I do too much of my own thing and he does too much of his own thing, and then we don't communicate, you could see the relationship is not very strong. Then you think, oh, we got to work on it again. So I think after a time, if you're too used to a relationship, sometimes you need to nurture it. You got to take care of it and give it attention and energy to it. Otherwise, it begins to deteriorate, you know.
That yeah, I think everything in life must be like that. Going something as simple as a plant, a relationship with a plant. It might not be something that will take you to the movies and have a good dinner, but if you care for the plant, and you take care of it, it gives you flowers. It blooms, it grows,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's about, if I put it there, just leave it be. Yeah, you're my plant, you look good there. Eventually it will dry out. So as you said, it's part of dedicating some time. You don't have to spend 100% of your time with the plant, but just enough to improve that relationship.
Yeah.
uh, I was thinking real quick about the question. and I wanted to give some tips or some stuff that people can do in their house, like maybe like a basic assessment or stuff that they can rearrange. Um, because it's very hard to give tips about feng shui online because you need to actually be there in the space.
Yeah, every room is
People say,
different.
"Oh no, but put the sofa like here," and there's not room, or there's a door and sofa. So you
Yeah.
need to actually be in the scenario. But
Yes.
I wanted to mention couple tips that um have a strong impact in the energy flow when in terms of relationship. I we mentioned when we were remember the boat when I was there in the kitchen. We were talking about the kitchen and stuff like that. I mentioned about the plants. Um, it's good that you have the element of couple in the house. So it's like bringing the essence of that energy in the house. So having plants like in pairs or
Mhm.
stuff that connects to that you go there and you say, okay, there's two people in here. If that's the case, if it's a couple, if it's a family group, and then it's different case. But I think that bringing, you want to improve your relationship or make it strong from the feng shui perspective,
Mhm.
it's all about chi, it's all about energy. So bring the essence of of a good relationship in the house. And since we are in constant vibration and resonance with our environment, eventually being under the influence of all those elements improve that relationship, even if it's a subconscious level first. After a while, a couple of days, you people will feel it. You will start acting on that flow.
Mhm.
So bring the element of couples, of good relationship,
Mhm.
um, flowers, frames that are couple, picture of them together. Oh, we went to the movies, selfie, print it, put it on the wall. That simple. And then maybe you're walking and you see it. Oh, we had a good time that day. That's
Yes.
something that people are not doing because of digital era. Oh, my phone is invisible. Oof. So so the, the digital era now, you want everything. Oh yeah, I posted it in Instagram, but print it, frame it, and put it in your wall, or be old school like that. Have it's like materializing that energy.
Well, I think
Um,
we need to be reminded, you know, we're very forgetful people, and our attention span is getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
Sometimes I feel more like Dory every day. No, Dory from Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo.
Like I just I just go.
You're too young for that. That's my age. I go upstairs and I think, wait, what did I come upstairs for? And I gotta go downstairs again. Yeah, but it's true. Our attention span, I don't know, they say it's like 7 seconds or 8 seconds now. It's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. But as you say, we need to be reminded. We need to be reminded that we have loved ones. We need to be reminded to be kind to each other. We need to be reminded, you know? And I think that's really good advice, you know, having pictures of uh, times when you were happy together, you know? There are times. Not every time is, you know, miserable.
And also, if you're by yourself, if you're alone, and you want to get someone else, bring that energy into your house. Like don't let your dog sleep with you in the bed. Make room in the bed for to receive at someone else. Buy two mugs instead of one. Same. Like
Actually, I have a funny story for that. There's a very famous Japanese guy who became famous because he became a minimalist and he wrote a book on minimalism. And he said he used to order a lot of stuff from Amazon and his apartment was small and it got more cluttered and more cluttered and more cluttered. And so he decided, you know, I don't use half these things. So he got rid and got rid and got rid. And then he came down to, I don't know, I think it was like 100 items. That's all he had, 100 items. You know, a toothbrush was one, toothpaste is two. I mean, literally, he counted. And so he went smaller and smaller and smaller. And then eventually he wrote this book and he became famous. And then he, at the time, he had an apartment with just a bed, no sofa. He had a desk where he worked, and it was just pure minimalist. And he says, well, I have a problem now. And they said, what's your problem? He says, well, I really want a girlfriend, you know, but how can I invite somebody? I don't even have a sofa, you know, I don't have anything. So I thought, see, when you go too far, then the yin yang too far, you cannot have a relationship. He is making himself in a situation where he will not have a relationship. He's got a single bed, one desk. He doesn't have the environment or the mentality to allow another person into his life.
Yeah. Like he probably was driving a motorcycle also, and it's like that. Like for example, people have family. They buy an SUV. No, I want to have kids. I get rid of my sport car. I want to get space. I want to get room for my family. No, those are the things that people take in consideration. So if you don't have couple a relationship with someone else and you want to have it, if you're single and you want to have it, create that space, bring that energy flow into your place, and it will just happen. I mean, I cannot tell you it will happen in a week, but if you want it and you make the conditions and the circumstances for that to be manifested, it will be manifested.
Yeah.
That's how it is. Another tip that I was thinking is if you have a couple, if you're sleeping with someone else in the same bed, relationship, ideally look for the most solid wall. We have talked about this in all the previous conversations, but it's very important. That's why we keep mentioning. So if you have your bed against a window, back part of your bed, then it don't have the support, the the energy in that space will not be able to nourish the couple. But if you have a solid wall behind you, you can be more relaxed. You can like coagulate that energy in that space. It's just not like leaking out, to put it like that in simple words. So yeah, many houses that I've seen where people live as a couple with a window behind, or a hole on the wall, or maybe a whole glass. Usually they have a lot of relationship issues. Um, so yeah, try to move your bed. If you have a kid, if you are in a bigger family circle and you want to improve your relationship with your son or daughter, this is much more complicated. But I remember like about putting the beds like towards looking at each other. This is very tricky, because for this we honestly you will want a feng shui consultant. If we cannot go visit you, maybe you can contact Jenny and maybe video the place or do a diagram. But if you can if you can see your house, this is very cool. If you can see your house from the top, the footprint of the house, and you see the positions of the beds, many cases, and I've seen in person, I've seen it, like said, oh, my daughter don't want me. My daughter she always sleeping in someone else's house. She don't want to be with me. And when I look at the beds, mother bed's facing this way, daughter bed's facing this way. Each other's back. Again, to fix this, it's not that easy, because depends on the doors, depends on the but we're talking about energy flow in the space that you are living, and we human beings are being constantly influenced by that energy flow. And this is one of the things that we see as a feng shui consultants, that what in this space tells me something about these people's life
Yes,
because I want to
absolutely.
help to fix it. So I mentioned earlier about the yin yang,
Mhm.
everything is a mirror of each other. If you improve your relationship, your environment will improve. But if you improve your environment, your relationship will improve too. We
Yes.
Feng Shui consultants, we make it easy. We just go there and tell you, hey, do this, and eventually you will be influenced by that different arrangement and energy flow. But also,
Yes.
some people has the power of will to say, hey, I want to improve this, and they go out and they improve their relationship, and then suddenly they arrange the house without not knowing. It happens intuitively in the search of a better relationship, a better improvement.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Well,
so we
just like,
mentioned,
yeah,
huh?
just like myself this weekend, past weekend, uh we cleaned out our garage. I went from a big house to a small house. I have a lot of junk. And it was very, what would you say? Haven't finished yet, but it was very liberating to get rid of stuff that I really don't need anymore. And I think you got to open up space, to let
Mhm.
new things enter. So if you want a new relationship, you got to let go of the old. And that can mean letting go of old stuff that you don't use, you know? It's kind of a reflection of your life sometimes, you know? So that's why we
Yeah,
always say clear the clutter, clear the clutter, clear the clutter. But people don't understand, well, clear the clutter for what? To
yeah, I
avoid.
already cleaned 5 times this week during this pandemic. But yeah, it's not about just cleaning and wiping. It's about actually making space, as you say. It's getting rid of stuff that you don't use or stuff that maybe you are attached to it and it's not a good attachment because maybe it was a gift from your previous partner and you're very attached to it and you don't want to let her go, and that way you're not giving space for the new partner or the new person that you want to meet. And so yeah, that's
Yeah,
very good, making space.
yeah,
So I was talking about creating the 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 environment, the circumstances, and you're talking about creating the space. So
hmm,
um, I think if you do all that like for example bring the element of couples, like bring plants that take together, look together, and bring or pictures, or bring that energy, that flow, and creating the space for that person, as I mentioned, like instead sleeping with the dog, like give room in the bed for the other person, and so on. I think by just doing just those two things, um, and also you need to go out and meet people. You cannot expect the mailman bringing you someone next day shipping
online dating, online dating. That's
online day. Yeah.
how you meet people. I know people who met online and it worked out. Not all of them do, but some do. I think you
Mhm.
can find similar interests and things like that if you do it online.
I want to tell you a funny story real quick about relationship. We mentioned about the stove and the sink being like it should
Mhm.
be in 90 degree
90
because it's not
degrees
opposite.
location.
Each one is in their back.
Mhm.
So we moved to this house, and the original design. Huh?
Where's your sink and your stove then?
No, listen, this is funny. The original design for this house, we've been living here a couple months. This is like a brand new place, so we're still like working. The garage is full of stuff. We're still arranging, but the original design is for you to put a stove in the island. So the kitchen has an island. It's not sure if it's marble or quartz, but it's a kind of stone.
Mhm.
So they give you the island, and there's no space in the kitchen for a stove. So you need to buy a stove for the island, and they cut the hole, and then you put it there. So I said, you know, I don't want to put my stuff in the island. I like it how it is. I don't want to cut this stone. Just leave it be. I'm gonna move some other cabinets and I'm gonna make it in a 90-degree in relation to the sink. So the guy who was doing the kitchen design, he's the one who designed every kitchen here. He
Oh.
liked it. He said, you know what? I'm buying a house here. I'm gonna do that to my house too. And since we are already have the hole, but we haven't gotten a stove to fit the new space, so we have a gas stove. So we're cooking on that while we finish the kitchen. The funny thing is that the only place that I managed to find a mountain for the gas stove is three, how do you call that? The what leads the
Pendant?
yeah, when you turn like in Spanish is hornilla. I don't know how to call it in English.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, the stove, that the circle stove that lights on.
The gas.
Like it has three in a row.
Okay.
So it's a thin stove. It's not a square one. So I put it against a wall that divides the living room.
Okay.
Just to have a mountain for that gas stove.
Okay.
The thing is that the other day I realized, because I listen to my parents. They are older age, but I seen arguments and like, why are you arguing so much? It's like, just let it be. We're in a new place. It's so good. And then I look at the kitchen and I realize that now this is the sink. There's the island where I didn't want to put the stove, and this is the gas stove. So it's at the other side against the sink, divided by the island. So if I had put it in the island, it would be closer to the sink. When it's at the other side, divided with the island against each other. But it's the only place that I managed to put it, because that stove is not for there. It's an outdoor gas stove for camping. But it's the only place that I could manage to put it. And it ended up in front of the sink anyway. So that got me thinking, like, wow, sometimes even with a feng shui consultant living in the place, the karma and the condition are stronger. Like I said, no, I don't want to put it here. I want to make a stove here. And things happen. Like, we haven't gotten the other stove. We got delayed, the pandemic, all that stuff. And the fact is that it's still in front of the sink. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't have control of it. I tried to change it and just couldn't. It just, I mean,
It happened.
it happened.
Yeah.
So sometimes relationships, as I said, you can change one thing and it will change the other. But sometimes the other is so strong, like the will to be together, the compromise, as you said, that you have with that relationship. There are some things that doesn't matter how much feng shui you work in the place, it just depends on those two beings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but yeah,
also,
I want,
like you say, it's the design of the space. It's what you're given, you got to work with.
mm-hmm.
So what do? There's a window there, there's a door there, there's, an opening hallway here. You're limited to your given space.
Yeah. No, I once we get a new stove, I'll be able to put it where it goes and fix it all. But there are external circumstances like the pandemic and many other stuff that prevented for that to happen. And yeah, even though I'm limited in space, just so many other factors.
Yeah, it's interesting just to see how, you know, you're being very observant of the situation,
Yeah.
and you noticed it. You noticed your parents arguing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um
So I have
I
to
try.
look around in my own house, and I see some clutter here and I see some clutter there, and I think, oh, maybe my brain is a little bit cluttered right now. I got to
Listen,
clean it up.
that I want to make a parenthesis that you mentioned that I'm aware of the things. These past few weeks, I've been more connected with myself. Maybe you guys have experienced this, that you think of something and it happened, or you think of someone and that person calls you. So I've been in that for a couple weeks now, and okay, I want to explain this because it will help for the people that want to improve their relationship. I told you guys a couple minutes ago about wanting it. If you want it and you create the circumstances, it will happen. But check this out. I was walking my dog the other day, took my day off, just Father's Day. It was Father's Day, I remember. And I visited a friend that just managed to arrive to the house at the same time I was walking my dog there. He invited me in. And he said, "Oh, Justin, you know who wants a bike? I'm selling this one. I want to show you a picture of it. It's a classic, but I don't know if you know, you will not be able to see it a little bit.
A little
It's
bit.
from 1958, classic bike,
Okay.
all original. I said, I can't afford that. It's like a $1,000 bike, but I took a picture because it looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
2 days later, someone gave me a bike for free. He said, Justin, you want this bike? Like a good bike, aluminum, lightweight, very good bike. I was like, what? Really? I have it right now. I have a bike. And I was not thinking about a bike, but I took a picture of it and I started showing it to people. So I kind of like, I was getting into that energy. So
Manifested the energy.
yeah, I was not planning to have one, but the fact that I went, I get some energy. I was sharing the pictures with other people. Man, check this out, and suddenly I have a bike. So this has been happening with many other stuff. It's just the bike is the one example that I brought, but it's been happening to me for a while. And it happens also for couples, for relationships. If you want to have a relationship, think of enjoy, like think of the good things of being a relationship instead of getting frustrated. Because if you're like, oh man, I'm tired of being alone, I don't want to do it, I want to, and then you're like feel sad because you're not in a relationship, and then you will not have a relationship because that's are the things you are throwing out to the universe. You're manifesting that instead enjoying it. I took the bike. I was so excited about that bike that I couldn't think, oh no, I cannot afford it or this. I was just excited. Oh man, that's a nice bike. For 2 days, excited about a bike, and now I got one. So you're in a relationship and you are tired of having argument. Oh no, we've been together 5 years and now we don't have the spark. He don't take me out or whatever. Don't do not complain, but enjoy, be grateful of what you have, enjoy the moment, and try to create the circumstances and just let it be.
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think I have a friend who, they have small children, and the husband works long hours, comes home tired, late, and the wife is at home with the two kids because they can't go outside. And so everybody's a little bit frustrated. So they become a little bit short with each other. But then the wife realized, oh, if I don't make it better, then it's only going to get worse. So she decided to change her attitude and say, I know you're tired when you come home. So, I made you something, and she made nice dinner. And then the husband gets all happy and he thinks, oh, I better work harder. And it just changes the whole mood, There has to be that empathy. There's got to be that effort. We all have to make a little bit of effort.
And be spontaneous. I think that that's another thing that
Well, it's kind of hard to be spontaneous in this country.
no, what I'm saying spontaneous, like say for example, we're here. Let's say we're here in the house, and people get entangled in the daily routine. Like go to work, do this, do that, and then go home, cook, watch TV, fall asleep, go to work. So But if you say one day, hey, let's let's go, let's get in the car right now and let's just drive. Like, I don't know, let's just get out of here.
Change it up.
5 minutes, 5 minutes. Just let's get in the car, 5 minutes, let's play a song and drive around. By by just doing that 5 minutes of your life, or you can cook something. It doesn't matter. It will not even get cold. This 5 minutes, get in the car, play a song. Hey, come on, let's drive. Just by breaking that pattern and do something different, you're shifting the energy. So if you're entangled in this routine and you're not enjoying, like, you and your partner just living the same every day, and you're getting bored of it, take the initiative and do something spontaneous for 5 minutes. Eventually, when time, oh, you can put a timer. When you listen, you'll say, I want to keep going. Let's forget that and let's go to the beach. Let's drive by the beach just to look at it or whatever, and that will bring the spark again, because you're shifting the energy. You're like giving that twist and getting person out of their routine. And routines are comfort zones. So once you get in the comfort zone, there's just there.
Yeah.
Time.
That's same with Feng Shui. We live with something there, like a piece of furniture in the same position for years and years, and you move it. You move it, maybe a few feet, and it feels different.
Yeah, and you get to appreciate it again.
Yeah, it changes the energy totally. Or if you move it from this wall to this wall, changes the feeling. You look at it different.
Yeah. So yeah. I hope that I could bring some enlightenment to people who are in a relationship and are not in a relationship. So I look young. I might not look like I know about relationship, but I've had a 15-year-old relationship, and I think I have good relationship with my friends. But I'm the kind of person that like to kind of not disappear, but I like my own space. I'm not very like go out and be out. So sometimes people feel like, oh man, we had a good time, and you suddenly are not calling anymore. It's not like I'm not interested. It's that I'm busy. I'm doing stuff. I'm always going with the flow, and that can be a problem for other people that are looking for a stable relationship with me.
Right.
Because I'm with the flow every day. I don't have plans for next week. Like I wait and I see, and I'm trying to live the spontaneous moment. This will not be forever, but at the moment I've been finding good results.
Good for you. Good for you.
What the life is offering. Like, hey Justin, let's go this place. Yes, I like yes man, like from Jim Carrey. Let's do this. Yes, let's go. I'm trying to be like that. But you see, this is something that I gotta let the other person know. Hey, listen, this is my lifestyle right now. It's not that you are not you're a good person. It's don't have anything with you. It's just my lifestyle right now. So I think that that's another tip for people. Like, be aware of the other person's lifestyle, because if you will share your life with that person, you need to adapt a little bit, and that person will need to adapt to you.
Well, you got to understand too. I had someone consult with me and says, "Oh, my friend is in a relationship, I think 5 years, and the guy was 35, and she was 30, and she wants to get married. She wants to have children, but he says, I don't want to get married for 10 years." He said it clearly, and she said, "What should she do?" And I said, "Well, what do you mean? What should she do?" He said, "I don't want to get married in 10 years. What don't you understand?" It's very clear. So she has two options. She can stay till he's 45 or move on. Those are her two options. I don't know what to say. But sometimes us women, we think we can change people. We have this bad habit of thinking that we're special and we can change somebody. But when somebody is very clear like that, I have no intention of marrying for the next 10 years, you have to listen. You have to,
Mhm.
and you have
Yeah.
to make the right decision for you. You cannot blame somebody 10 years along the way and say, hey, you said you're going to marry me. Doesn't, you got to take care of yourself and be there with open eyes.
As the example I said about the plan, if you have a plan, be aware of what kind of fruits your plan will give you, because if you are planning and expecting get apples, and then it's bringing you oranges, oh, you're supposed to bring me apples, this is, and then you start getting mad at the tree because it's giving you oranges. So be aware of what the other person will be offering to you. Like, then don't expect that person will offer what you are looking for. See what that person is offering, and if it's what you're looking for, go for it. If not, as you say, move on,
Yeah.
because
It's clear. Somebody says, yep, I'm not interested, then it's not what should I do. You you got to
I,
to
I
yeah.
have a friend that he said, man, relationships are like going to fast food. You get a combo. So you might not like the fries, but you want the burger, you want the soda, and it comes with the fries. So, like, it's a combo that you get in the package. That's what it's coming with. So,
That's funny. I like
yeah, we could enlighten someone out there and
yeah,
strive for a
yeah.
relationship future.
Sounds
But
good. But yeah, relationships, everybody's got to keep working at it. So use your environment to enhance your relationship and make it the way you want it to go. But don't forget, you got to put time and energy into any kind of relationship to have a good relationship.
yeah, this is a good relationship now. Hey, people, Jenny and I, we've known for many years, but since we started doing this, our relationship improved. And she live in Seattle, I live in the Caribbean, but we found a space where we can have, if we going to marry, it's not gonna work out. We are at the other side of the earth, but it works for this. We're having fun, and I embrace this. I embrace
Well,
all
every
the things.
time I finish, I feel good. That's a good
Yeah,
sign.
yeah,
Uplifted. That's a good sign.
yeah. So some relationship, you embrace them as they are, instead living with the expectation of, oh no, I wish I could do this with Jenny in person and be in front of a camera, both together. Yeah, I mean, that can happen, but I'm embracing the good thing that we have now for the
Yeah.
moment, and that makes you feel good, and you're happy with it. It's embrace the moment, embrace what you got, embrace what the other person is offering, and no, don't expect too much. You know what you want. Just let it happen.
Yeah.
Give it some time. So
Okay. I think we're good for
thank you for this.
what?
Thank you for this.
No, thank you. I enjoy it so much and hope everybody, can benefit from something that we share with
Have a
everybody.
good day.
Have a good day. Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.